Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got another episode of This Week in Warframe. We go over the entire weekly reset, and we got a bunch of great loot for you, and a new mini event starting on Friday. So let's get right into this stuff. But yeah, we're also live on stream right now doing an Omniforma bundle giveaway. If you want an Umbra form, we got you covered here too at Teshin. But yeah, Omniforma bundle giveaway going right now. Come on, stop out. We're doing multiple Omniforma bundle giveaways tonight. First things first, though, we got a Umbra Forma blueprint at Teshin for 150 skill lessons. So hopefully you got some from the drops from the DE dev stream, but if you didn't, you got a guaranteed one right here. And there are rumors and speculation, mostly rumors, that there will be an Umbra Omniforma on the way at some future update. Also, a reminder, too, you're on the last week of the anniversary alerts. You got 4 days, 14 hours for the Dex Roxa armor set and the Dex color picker. Additionally, there's a double credit event going on right now, but that's going to be going away tomorrow morning if you don't watch this video like right when it came out. But yeah, likely going to be the last double credit weekend of the year as well. So as far as your new event starting on next Friday, the Galleon of Ghouls, don't expect too much. It's going to be more of a kind of like an out-of-season April Fool's joke, but not that out-of-season. It's going to be a mission where you can do self-damage with the Ogress and like basically get destroyed. It's going to be multiple capture missions, and you'll be getting a new Ghoul Tonfa weapon. So I'll have a review of that out when it comes out. But yeah, as it stands right now, don't expect too much from the mini event. It's just going to be like a little goofy thing where you run through with an Ogress and get a capture target that apparently runs away really fast, so... Dormazone over here, we've got your weekly stuff. Now, as far as the best stuff that appears over here, as you can see, a Orokin Reactor is going to be an item you can get for 20 Pathos clamps, but additionally, you also get a Shotgun Ribbon. Not everybody realizes this, but Shotgun Ribbons are actually more rare nowadays than they used to, because DE actually adjusted how likely you are to get a Shotgun Ribbon, because there's less shotguns in the game than rifles. They're actually more rare nowadays, so I'd say this is probably worth grabbing. But beyond that, you got Exos Adapters, Forma Blueprint, and Kuva. Not the best. These two items right here are pretty worth your Pathos, too. And if you didn't watch my dev stream overview video, DE is heavily implying there will be an expansion to the Duviri, like, open world area with Murmur. That means probably new Incarnons as well, so keep an eye out for official information on May 10th. But as of right now, we can at least guarantee that Murmur will be on Duviri, which means Duviri stuff is going to happen, so yeah. Moving on to the calendar buffs here, we've got some weekly loot that has been a little bit not as great compared to when it first came out, but it's still pretty good. So we also got some weekly buffs, or like month-long buffs you can grab here. Now, about Broaden Horizons, look at this right here. I've got maxed out Broaden Horizons, but they still seem to let me be able to pick it. So if you already have 4 levels of Broaden Horizons, maybe don't pick it for a 5th time. But either way, I might try it just to see what happens, because these are going to go away next week anyway. But you got Punch Card giving primary punch through weapon for weapons, Harden Up giving overshield on kill, which is quite nice, or Broaden Horizons giving you 10% range after picking up an orb for 10 seconds. But apparently only stacks them 4 times. First loot choices are not too hot. We got 1 Arcane from the 1999 tile set, but this does not include Arcane Hotshot, Arcane Universal Fallout, or Arcane Escapist, so not really the best, or a pitiful 2K Kuva. You be the judge of what one's worth it to you, but I think those are both some of the worst options you get on that tier. Moving on, after they get 75 Scholars or melee kills, you get a guaranteed Orange Shard or 200 Phosphor. So basically 3 Arcanes from a random grab bag or a guaranteed Orange Shard. I say go for the guaranteed Orange Shard here. Moving past that, you got another melee challenge, and after that you get a guaranteed melee Arcane Adapter fully built, or an Arcane Singular Enhancement. I'd say go for the melee adapter on that one. And then after that you got an Orokin Catalyst, so an Orokin Catalyst blueprint here, and there was an Orokin Reactor on the Dormazone, so you can get both of those this week, or 2 Arcanes. Basically this is a 20 plat value, this is like a 6 plat value if that, so I'd say go for the Orokin Catalyst blueprint. You got some really strong buffs here with Powered Shield. I believe this is a new buff. Energy Orbs give 100 shields and overshields. That's really strong. But that does not work for your teammates, only works for you. But yeah, quite nice for getting some easy shields. But the most powerful buff that could actually appear is here this week, Overpower. Casting ability Increases power strength by 2% and efficiency by -1% per energy consumed for 5 seconds. I think they capped that 200% power strength, but this is one of the best buffs you can get. It makes your abilities really, really strong. So grab that if you haven't already. And Combo Wave. Upon gaining 7x combo multiplier, all melee attacks fire off energy waves. I don't think I've ever tried this one before, so maybe that could be worth trying. Maybe on like Wukong's staff, make everything a mini exalted blade. Sounds interesting to me, so I'll probably grab that one actually. But yeah, last page here, we've got the last couple of buffs. So a guaranteed mod booster, not too bad. Now, reminder, this does work on Endo drops, Arcane drops from Thrax, and some other stuff too. So yeah, this would be a great choice for you here. A guaranteed thing that usually only comes from very rare spots and borrow for 3 days. Or 6k Kubo. Definitely go for the mod booster on those choices. As far as your last perks here, you got 250 armor from Thick Skin, 25% guaranteed extra power strength from power gains, or increased magazine size with heavy mags. I say probably go for power gains here. Then for the last thing, last loot drop, you got 1 Arcane or 1 Exus War from Adapter. Hey, at least we got a mod booster because those are pretty rare to get. So either way, guys, that's be your last week of buffs. And also a reminder, too, if you haven't been watching all the news videos, there's going to be a new Nightwave on May 21st. So you have basically like under a month to get your Nightwave grinded up to the level you are happy with. I'd recommend getting the Biotic Rounds Augment. We've also got a rotation of Coda weapons here. Let's see what we have. Just a quick peek. So we got 40% Cannibalist with Magnetic, 25 Hema with Magnetic. We're getting the worst Hemas. 55% Myers, pretty good. It only requires 1 infusion to get max, and the Myers, one of the better Coda weapons. Also, guys, new updated Coda tier list this week. Now that I have everything 60, I have a better judge of what is good and what's bad out of these. So you got a very high Meyer and everything else not the highest. So I'd say grab that 55 Meyer if you still need it. But I believe there was a 60 Meyer a couple weeks ago anyway, so not that big of a deal. That's also not technically tied to the weekly reset. Those rotate every 4 days. What's a real weekly here is the Templar Archimedia. And it looks like, hey, thankfully there's no defense this week, but either way, we've got the Elite Weekly here with the mission types as follows. Hell Scrub, Legacyte Harvest, and Exterminate. Thankfully, no defense, because I feel like defense is like every week, it feels like. But first things first, your modifiers are going to be as follows. Hold your breath. The entire region is dealing toxin damage to you over time, so Wisp Motes will be very helpful here. They increase the longer you're in the toxin field, except in the vicinity of Hell Scrubbers. Some enemies may drop filters that create zones of safety. So basically, I'd recommend everyone camp the Hell Scrubber with Wisp Motes, ideally, because if you don't, you're going to be getting toxin procs. It won't be that bad for some frames, but either way, a really deadly modifier for some players. Next, Entanglement. Dying near an enemy will make you move a lot slower, so you're stuck in the toxin while you're running towards that Wisp Mote. And the last one, Bold Venture. Enemies deal less damage and take increased damage, but also increase movement speed, attack speed, and fire rate. So they're going to be running towards you faster and slowing you down as they die. Legacyte Harvest. Reminder, they have made this easier compared to months or weeks ago when it had really high HP and attenuation. It's easier now. First one, Mitosis. 2 Legacytes spawn each round, and twice as many captures are needed for success. You need to capture 6 Legacytes to beat this mission. You're going to probably be there for 12 minutes or longer. Next, Corrupted Flesh. Tekra enemies are infused with a Fervon and take damage over time. They explode when killed and leave deadly a Fervon in their wake. So, pretty annoying damage. And then the last one, Devil's Bargain. Allies within 4 meters of a slain enemy will have a lot less ammo efficiency, and they have increased fire rate at least. And for the last one, this looks like a pretty easy ETA, actually. We've got Sealed Armor. Enemies take less damage when they're not hit by a weak point. Miasmite Swarm. Tekrot Miasmite Swarm out of the shadows throughout the mission. That sounds funny. And Beyond the Wall. Murmur enemies join the ranks with Scaldra and the Tekrot. That's pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully that one doesn't glitch out. But this is going to become a Tekrot Murmur Exterminate. And a reminder, like I said earlier, the Murmur might be invading Deviri, so get a little bit ready for that, maybe. And as far as your individual modifiers, Dull Blades, minus 50% melee combo chance. Fractured Armor casting ability reduces your armor. Constricted, energy max reduced by 75%. Very annoying new modifier on there. And the last one, Ammo Deficit. Ammo is restored by drops, and gear is reduced by 75%. I have an Excalibur, no ammo needed for him, but we'll see how this goes, so. Either way, that's the place you get Arcane Hotshot. That's the place where you get, you can get guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but you can get purple Tau Shards there, already fused. So some pretty decent stuff to grab. Moving on to the rest of our weeklies here. We've got some great Incarnons also available this week. such as the Torrid and Dual Tox, but we'll get around to that once we go over the weekly missions. Reminder, too, that since the Nightwave is ending in about a month, there is a catch-up mechanic. So if you start doing Nightwave, you're like, oh, there's no way I catch up to you guys with Nightwave. You don't necessarily need to get to like level 100, you need to get to level 30. So once you do your challenges you got for Nightwave, it will restock some of them. Like, let's say you did like the Eidolon Hunt one, and then it would be like, okay, all the challenges are done. They're going to give you some sortie challenge or something like that afterwards to keep getting reps. So you can definitely catch up. Don't worry about too much. You got an entire month. Moving over to the Elite Deep Archimedia. This requires rank 5, just like the last place does. And missions are as follows. Disruption, Mere Defense, and Exterminate. So not as long as last week, thankfully. We got a third mission to exterminate for both of our Elite Weeklies. But the modifiers are as follows. Unified Purpose. Enemies can target and destroy the conduits. One of the more annoying modifiers, treat the conduits like a mini mobile defense target, because they can actually be destroyed, and you can fail the mission if they destroy enough of those conduits. Next, Bolster Belligerence. All enemies at Overguard equal to 50% of the maximum health. So gloom and slow stuff will not be as useful, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal if you have damage all over the place. Devil's Bargain. You'll have worse ammo efficiency when you're near a dead enemy. For Mere Defense, these are the ones you gotta be careful about, because this is a definitely failable mission. The security system requires double glyphs to get the Avasvine security system activated, so 100 glyphs needed. Interesting. Next, Entanglement. You are massively slowed when you're near a dead enemy. And post-mortal surges. While you're slowed down, the enemy will be exploding and deal like multiple hundred damage easily. So careful about this one. And also be careful about killing enemies near the defense objective, because they can also damage that too. For your last mission, it should be pretty easy for you. Fissure Cascades. Enemies level up over time. If you destroy the Void Rifts, they will not level up anymore. Explosive Potential. Rupturing Fragments replace Shuffling Fragments. Enemies, like the arm enemies, will explode and do a lot of damage. So be careful about that. And the last one, Commanding Culverins. Rogue Culverins equip weapons that deal 5 times damage to Overguard and Necromech, so you can't have Dante as helpful as usual. Transference Distortion means you can't use your Operator. Constricted means no energy. Your energy max is massively reduced. I really don't like this modifier. They keep adding it. Gear Embargo. Oh, no. Oh, these modifiers are so bad. No Spectres, no gear, no nothing. And Energy Exhaustion. Lose 2 energy per second for each enemy within 10 meters of you. This is some really, really bad modifiers. No Operator, no gear, reduce overall energy, and energy drain when enemies are nearby you. Good thing I got Trinity for EV, I guess. So, either way, that's going to be your Elite Deep Archimedia. And a reminder too, your boy Bird3, or your Bird 3, got the guaranteed red shard for 30,000 reps. So a great place if you're getting unlucky at other spots to get the most desired shard, in my opinion. That's going to be your Kavia Weeklies. Let's go ahead and hop over to Duviri, and we can talk about some of the best guns in the game that you can get this week. Now, I'm going to make this I want to stress this, guys. If you don't have these weapons, and you want them, you know that the Torrid and Incarnon exist, you know the Dual Toxis and Incarnon exist, you need to get them this week, because if you don't, you're going to be having to wait 2 months to get them, to get the option to get the Incarnons again. So you can get the actual guns to drop, but not the Incarnon to drop, which is a pretty big deal. Now, as far as your normal circuit, you've got Limbo, Mirage, and Hydroid. Hydroid drops from Earth boss fight. Mirage is a quest frame, and Limbo is also a quest frame. So I would say go for Mirage here, because if you want to get a second copy of her, it does require you to, I believe you have to get Samaris rep for it, which is pretty annoying, and her helmet is pretty good with Eclipse. The Eclipse, or the helmet ability of Limbo is Banished, which is also decent, but it's a lot more niche than Mirage's easy damage buff. So yeah, do the Limbo quest, sacrifice that Limbo for Helminth, and for Mirage, I'd say just go for this one. Not like it's a really big deal either way, because it's just normal circuit frames, but yeah, Mirage much more useful than Limbo for that damage buff. Moving on to the Steel Path circuit, this is what I was talking about. If you don't have this stuff, you owe it to yourself to get this within this week, because if you don't, you have to wait 2 months. You cannot buy these. There's some Incarnons you can buy at any time, but these ones you can't. So yeah, let's go over what we have here to maybe convince you to farm it, or convince you not to farm it, maybe. So starting off with the Torrid Incarnon. Honestly, one of the #1 weapons in all of Warframe. It's available this week. Dual Toxis Incarnon. Honestly, it's one of the top pistols in all of Warframe secondaries. It's available this week as well. The Dual Ichor Incarnon. Sadly, you can only pick 2 Incarnons per week, but if you could pick 3, this would be one of the third ones, obviously. One of the best melees in all of Warframe. It creates toxin fields on kill. And the Miter Incarnon. one of my favorites, but yeah, it's kind of stiff competition this week with those other choices. A Saw Blade Launcher and the Atomos Incarnon. Definitely the lowest tier one as far as overall usefulness, but still really, really strong regardless. Now, let's go over a quick explanation of why these are so good. So the Taurid Incarnon, if you haven't heard about it before, it's like a grenade launcher in the primary form. And once you get some body shots or head shots, it doesn't matter. As long as you get direct hits with that grenade launcher, you will charge the Incarnon form and enter a different firing mode. It becomes a chaining toxin beam with some of the highest stats you've ever seen. So, yeah, with Survivor's Edge, you have crazy high hybrid stats like, multiple hundred status chance, multiple hundred crit chance on the same build, and it changes between enemies for really, really good damage, too. So, highly recommend this one as your top choice in the primary slot. Now, let's say you already have some primaries that you love, and you're like, I don't need that thing. It's overrated or whatever. You could go for something else, but yeah, I'd highly recommend this one as number one. Dual Toxicist Incarnon in the secondary slot. Similar to the Furious Incarnon, it's one of the best choices you could possibly bring for the most damage output. So the Incarnon form, this one requires headshots, unlike the Taurid requiring body shots. Get some headshots, and you will get an auto-fire mode that ricochets to nearby enemies. It's a lot more exciting than it sounds, because it's also got crazy high damage, too. So, Commodore's Fortune makes this thing that has not the best crit chance, usually have really high crit chance, and then some of these other perks are just strong in general, like this one right here. On ability cast, 5% multi-shot, stacks them 20 times. So, built-in 100% multi-shot. Throw that on with your mods, you have multiple 100% multi-shot on this thing really easily. So yeah, crazy for ad clear, crazy for single target. Just a really, really good pistol for long-range situations and close-range situations as well. So highly recommend it. Now, let's say you don't want to grab those two, some of the best guns in the game. You got one of the best melees in the game here with the Dual Ichor Incarnon. Like I said earlier, when you get kills with this thing after you have a 6x multiplier and transform it, it will create toxin clouds on kill. Those toxin clouds can kill more enemies and just make this thing go really crazy, pretty much. So as far as some of the high tier perks, it doesn't have the most crit chance, but it has good status chance with Absolute Valor. Additionally, those toxin clouds will take your modded elements into account and proc the things you have mods. Let's say you want a corrosive build on your Dual Ichor. Those toxic clouds will become corrosive clouds, and so on and so forth. So, really good stuff. Some things don't affect the clouds, but a lot of things do. So, I'd highly recommend it as a great melee and an extremely powerful dual sword. Let's say that you don't care about the toxic clouds. It's just good for damage up front, too. So, highly recommend this one if you have the other two already. Next, the Mitre Incarnon. I'll be using this in my Gara video coming out this week. The Mitre Incarnon is a very hard-hitting weapon. It's great for Acolytes, anti-Acolytes, because it hits so hard with crits. But the reason I use it is actually a special augment mod it has called Neutralizing Justice. You fire out these saw blades, and it is very, very likely to pop a nullifier's bubble, which means that they can't turn off your abilities. Very nice for Gara, who heavily relies on abilities and does not like nullifiers at all. So, that being said, it is a little bit clunky, feeling it has 20 rounds of Incarnon ammo. It also is a charged weapon, too, so it has some times where it feels pretty bad. But it hits really hard, and if you want to try this thing out, bouncing, homing saw blades, they have a mind of their own sometimes, but really strong with the Mitre Incarnon. And the last one here, the Atomos Incarnon, it goes from a primary chaining beam, well, I say primary, it's in the secondary slot, it's a pistol. The chaining beam of this thing can do some fire procs really nicely, but once you get some headshots, so yeah, headshots required on this one, you get to go to grenade launcher form with extremely high crit. This thing it can wipe out like an entire room with its large AoE size, and its extremely high crit can one-shot Acolytes too, so very good option. Let's say you were a beginner player that had your MR5 got the Atomos normal, you could bring your weapon you had as a noob and bring it to the Steel Path version. That's what I did. My Atomos from when I was a new player is now my Atomos Incarnon, and it can slay out Steel Path. So really good stuff there. Now that we talked about all of those, what's the best ones to get? It's the Taurid and the Dual Tox this week. But if you already have one of these, the third place is the Dual Ichor because of its AoE melee potential. And let's say you had all three of those and go with Mitre number 4 and Atomos number 5. But yeah, they're all really good. These are some really, really powerful Incarnons this week. Moving on to the Archon hunt, we've got the Snake Archon here with some yellow Archon shards. And as far as the mission types, they are as follows. Spy mission on Jupiter. So be really careful about that first spy vault, guys. Maybe if you're looking to do this in public matchmaking, maybe don't do the first mission in public matchmaking because it's a really easy spy mission to mess up. But that being said, after you get through that, you get the Disruption on Jupiter. I believe it's they're Narmer, so they're not going to really be using Bane mods on them because they're not Grenier or Corpus. And then for the last one, the final boss showdown against the Snake Archon. Good luck getting that Archon shard. But yeah, so we've got like under a month for the Nightwave, we've also got a new dev stream coming out in 2 weeks. So expect big stuff on that dev stream as they'll be covering the new update. But for your weekly for your Nightwave challenge, we've got these easy ones right here. Complete 3 assassination missions. So just pay the sergeant a visit 3 times. Complete 3 different planes of Eidolon bounty. So the Eidolon bounty does count. So you can do an Eidolon capture real quick, get the bounty completion on that, and then go do some like level 1 bounties really fast. Then the last, these Elite Weeklies here, we got activate the Incarnon form with any weapon in mission 5 times. So just go back and forth, back and forth. A couple headshots should do. And then the Many Made Whole. Exchange 10 Riven Slivers for a Riven Mod. That's for Pauladina on Iron Wake on Earth. And as far as your permanent weeklies, you got kill 30 Eximus, complete 15 missions, and kill 500 enemies. For your Nightwave cred offering store, reminder guys, use your Nightwave creds before the next Nightwave starts on May 21st, or they will be depreciated in value massively. You got your Evergreen stuff at the top. You got Comey's helmet. Pretty nice you don't have Comey's helmet to grab that. You got the Atomos skin if you grab the Atomos Incarnon. You got Cyto 9's helmet. That's pretty nice. Cyto 9's helmet for 35 Nora creds. And the list goes on. We got my favorite Inaros helmet. And as far as aura mods and stuff like that, we got Holster Amp, a very nice aura mod. You got Wild Friends of Gurkana, pretty funny augment mod. But the rest of the stuff here is not the best. I guess Napalm Grenades is good for the Penta as well. But yeah, everything else besides Holster Amp and Napalm Grenades are really not the best here. So I'd say you could pass on most of that stuff. But beyond that, you got the Pangolin Sword normal, the Glaive normal, the Dark Sword normal, and the Dark Dagger normal. So honestly, use your Nora creds on Mastery Fodder this week if you still did, because that's a lot of Mastery Fodder. Purifying Flames for Ember, Purging Slash for Excalibur, Focus Acceleration for the Tetra, and Rumbled for Atlas are going to be your Conclave Augment mods. And those are pretty good ones here. I've heard Rumbled is pretty decent for Atlas. I need to try out some more. But yeah, guys, either way, that's going to be your Nightwave overview. And like I said, you have a new event coming on Friday. I'll be covering it extensively when it comes out, but don't expect too much. It's more of like a goofy for fun event. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you on stream very soon. Actually, I'm on stream right now, so hopefully I'll see you on stream very soon. That's a crazy looking one for Atlas. Melee damage for Atlas. Ability range for Caliban. Pretty good. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Appreciate the support. Take it easy. Peace.